All right, man. Let's talk about the Lions have a very important 3 game stretch coming up, and I'm gonna tell you how important this 3 game stretch is. They got a number of injuries. I'll talk about Rodrigo and them signing his replacement, and we kind of get to this return index I found too. Um, so yeah, man, like it's important, and the unfortunate thing about it is the Lions are very unhealthy right now. I want to say yesterday they missed a gang of starters. Obviously, it showed. You missed Carlton Davis. Terrion, he was back, so that was always good to know. He came back yesterday. Um, obviously Hutch and Alexander Zoni, he is expected to come back. Just a number of guys was missing yesterday, man. Defensively, offensively, Taylor Decker was missing. And obviously, some of these guys you expected to honestly be miss some games. I mean, you expected it when you go out there and you look at Carlton Davis. His history say he gonna miss a couple games. You go out there and you look at Taylor Decker. His history say he gonna miss a couple games. Frank's missed a couple games already. Just the nature of the beast. You know what I'm saying? So some of these guys gonna miss a few games, quite frankly. So, but but this 3 game stretch they got coming, even though they got all these wins in a row, this 3 games right here is so important because then you have 2 games left to go. You got a 1 game. You got really, in reality, you really have a 2 game lead on Minnesota. If Minnesota loses to Green Bay or Chicago again, that's a wrap. So really, in reality, these 2 games won't matter as far as the division game. If you can win these next 3, what it will matter for is for Philly. That's what it will matter for. So Philly would have to lose a game, and then these 2 games won't matter. So you really have to clean these games up. The fortunate thing about these games is, the bad thing about it is, they don't get the extended week that they usually would get. They don't get the extended week that they usually would get to get healthy between Thursday and then playing next Sunday. They play another Thursday again versus Green Bay. So Green Bay, from what I've seen, they relatively came out healthy yesterday. They did trade Preston Smith and they did make a couple moves, whatever, but relatively they came out healthy. They came out healthy. So obviously last year they beat us when they came to Ford Field. It's to be a primetime game at home. And the good thing about this schedule, is both these next games at the crib, right? But going to Green Bay, going home to Green Bay, Anzarike, Pascal got injured, so that'll hurt. But they defensive line had their best pass rush they had all year. The difference is Chicago offensive line is one of the worst in the league, but so was Houston. But then again, they didn't have Zadarius Smith. So hopefully Levi Anzarike, Josh Pascal, they're healthy come next Thursday. The Muhammad guy he's been playing well every year. He deserved more snaps. And I think that's one of the reasons they got rid of James Houston was because of the Muhammad guy. That's one of the reasons they got rid of James Houston. Was Muhammad. Remember I think he was the guy that made the play on that screenplay in Green Bay. Or one of those screenplays. I can't remember who was verse. He made one of them plays for some screenplays. So, yeah. So, yeah, very, very important, man. So these games they got coming up, and you got to understand why. You be like, well, why is Chicago important? If we had our starting corners, we probably would have beat Chicago, right? I know you're saying that. And that was the difference. You had Khalil Dorsey out there chasing people around. You know what I'm saying? You had, Kinder Vitor, who didn't play a bad game. That last play was bullshit, but just tired of his janky ass. But it's really important because it's a division game. Now you can say, well, if Gibbs didn't fumble, this game wouldn't have been competitive. Absolutely, I would agree with you. But that Tyreek Stevenson guy made a play, or if J-Mo didn't throw the football at that guy, well, don't matter. Tyreek Stevenson got under his skin again. He makes some good plays. So at the end of the day, they playing with a lot of momentum, and that's fine. That's perfect. But then again, there's still some tweaks offensively to clean up. Defensively, I think it was just a matter of depth issues. And they still play well. So you really won't see Khalil Dorsey in there. You really won't see Vitor in there if they're healthy. That we do know. So you get Emmanuel Mosley in there at some point. If it get too thick, you'll get Andrew Straw back playoff time, right before the playoffs. You'll get Alizoni back right around the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? At some point you hope to get F.A. Melifanu back. So you're going to be a different football team if some of these guys come back before the playoffs. You might get Kaminsky back in January. It may be an outside chance that you may get him back. So, and I'll talk about that in the next video. So some of these dudes you're going to get back, but this stretch they playing, man, it's vital. It's vital. If they can get Green Bay, and they can get Chicago, well, they already beat Minnesota once in the division. So you basically about to sweep your division. That's what you need to do. Very important. Very important. So Green Bay is motivated. Like, you can literally crush Green Bay confidence by beating them Thursday. You can crush them. So it's a little bit different. I think we played them the first. When did we play them the first time? That's a great question. So we played them. So Hutchinson was already injured. So that's a fact. So Zadarius Smith be extra motivated to play them. So that's going to be an interesting game. So let me look at the spread real quick. It's going to be on Prime Video, by the way. Hold on, I'm tripping. Let's see if we can get the spread real quick. So they don't have a spread yet. They expect us to win. We at the home Thursday night game. Tough game. But like I said, that's a very important game for the Lions, man. That game, they can get that game, and just because you dominated them before, you dominated them, whatever. It'll be clear whether they beat us here last time. And then you get to talking about the Buffalo game. The Buffalo game is an important game because of Philadelphia and Minnesota being on your ass. No diddy. That's why that's a comfortable game. That's why it's a game. Like, it's a game where, they beat us on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Okay. And we didn't talk enough about Jake Bates missing that field goal yesterday, man. He should have made that. But yeah, we kind of gave him a pass on missing that field goal. But yeah, that need to be brought up. He missed that field goal. But, and Bassey missed the field goal that year versus Buffalo. And that was, nobody really talked about it. That's one of the reasons we lost that game. Real spiel. It's one of the reasons we lost that game. So, but the Buffalo game is another vital game. Just because of Philadelphia and Minnesota on your heels. Now, let me see who Minnesota played this week. Let's go up here. So it's a real ugly week in the NFL this week. It's really not that many good games. So Minnesota play Arizona in Minnesota. That'll be an interesting game. Arizona's a good football team. And then the Eagles play the Baltimore Ravens, so in Baltimore. So that's another really good football game. And then Buffalo plays San Francisco just for good measure. I don't know if Purdy's going to play. So which could be a good thing and a bad thing for the Lions too in the NFC because of basically San Francisco started tanking and get more talent. They're gonna be dangerous next year, but nonetheless. But yeah, Buffalo is a really interesting game too because. But the good thing about the Buffalo game is you're gonna have 10 days rest between Buffalo, Green Bay, and Buffalo. So you get that. You almost get 11 days rest. They might flex it to Monday night, but I still think it's gonna be on Sunday. So you can get about 10 days rest. So, yep, we'll get about 10 days rest in that game. So, and then going to Chicago, we beat them in Chicago last year. They beat us at home last year. That game really shouldn't have been that close yesterday, regardless. So they'll look at some things that they did wrong. Versus Chicago, but Thanksgiving they always fluky. They lost 7 straight on Thanksgiving, 3 straight losses on Thanksgiving to Chicago alone. So that's something to also pretty much think about. So so they in for this next 3 game run. This next 3-game stretch game run is going to be crucial for them. Either people gonna scream SOL, the injuries making people scream SOL a little bit, but they make it through this 3-game run. And naturally, I know, they're gonna play their players and all that, but that San Francisco game was a game that we had circled on our calendar. It was a game we had circled on our calendar, y'all. And it may not be significant because maybe they just might pack it in and start tanking. Try to get Travis. Maybe even try to get a quarterback. And, I'm going to say this about San Francisco. They complaining about, they're complaining about Kyle Shanahan. You got to be out your mind. You get rid of Kyle Shanahan. Y'all are fucking idiots, dude. Y'all are idiots. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. You're fucking idiots. They're idiots. So, no. No. So, no. I mean, he's a hellified he's a hellified head coach. You don't get rid of him. If we being honest, you don't get rid of that type of guy. No way, no how. So, no, thank you. If I'm them, I'm not getting rid of him. But it is what it is. But them 3 games right there, 2 division games. In reality, it's 2 primetime games. That Chicago game is a primetime game. It really is. Not the Chicago game, but that Buffalo game is a primetime game. So, but yeah, and they got 3 really, really important games coming up, and it's gonna be very, 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 very interesting. Trust me. Very interesting. But you got to understand, a lot of these teams, man, in a lot of these phases of football, they go through ups and downs. Nobody played great football all year. Let me say that. Nobody plays great football all year. Don't forget that. Nobody's just playing great football. These teams have their ups and downs. Baltimore, Kansas City. But the difference between Baltimore and the Kansas City and the Detroit, this is the difference. Kansas City and Detroit, between Baltimore and other teams. Detroit and Kansas City is just finding ways to win football games. That's the difference. They're finding ways to win football games. Minnesota is finding ways to win football games. Philadelphia right now is finding ways to win football games. But in reality, you just want your all 3 phases to be playing at the best they can be playing at. When playoff time comes. So we'll see. You want to be healthy. and you want to be playing well come playoff time. So, you know, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon Music, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Hit the link tree. You can check out my other platforms. Won't be disappointed. Appreciate y'all. Peace.